So we're talking about from E to P. Well, it's one of my favorite of the 6 personal perspectives with Keller Williams, going from E to P. Who can tell me, what does E to P mean? What does that mean? If I was to say, what does E to P stand for? What does it mean? Raise your hand and tell me. I know he's ready to jump out of the chair. What is it? Tell me about E to P.
I said it last time.
You said it last time.
Come on, someone else. Come on. Anyway.
Just you.
Entrepreneurial to purposeful.
Yes, it's going from entrepreneurial to moving to purposeful. Now, when we're doing anything, whether it is learning how to ride a bike, learning how to go for a run, or the difference between going for a run up to the end of the block versus running a half marathon, you're going to have to do something a little bit different. Okay, so what happens is we see a lot of people, they'll start using their natural talent, their natural skills and ability to propel them and to get them going. But after a while, they're going to hit what's called a ceiling of achievement. They're going to hit that. And what ends up happening is they end up hitting their head on that ceiling of achievement, and they start to bounce backwards and say, man, this is really unmotivating. This is starting to, I'm disappointed. This is not where I want it to be. They start to get frustrated. They start to think, are there greener pastures that's much better than where I'm at right now? Right. And then that cycle is going to continue and continue and continue. You're going to keep hitting your head in that ceiling of achievement until you have a breakthrough, until you do something different. And you have to commit, not just to say, I'm going to be purposeful. You have to commit to becoming purposeful and doing something different. And a lot of times what that means is hiring the right coach, having the right conversation, implementing the right tools, the systems, surrounding yourself around the right people. And that's what today is all about, is putting ourselves in the right mindset to see what we can do to get from $1 million to $5 million, $5 million in volume to 10 million, 10 million to 50 million, and one day to achieve the goals that we all set out for ourselves. Okay, and that's exactly what we're here today to do. Our guest speaker, James Mattz, is going to specifically talk about what he's done in his business and what you can do in your business in order to succeed as well. I'm not going to leave an introduction that light. So I'm going to actually have Steve, who's worked with him for many years, to do a full proper introduction.
All right, very good. All righty. So I just want to say this man is my brother from the other mother. This man and I go back a long time. So just want to kind of give a little short summary about our relationship. I got into the business in 2002. I went to a Mike Ferry event way back when. James was up on stage in front of like 5,000 people with Mike being on a panel or something like that. I can't remember. I said, and this guy's in like this $4,000 suit, and this is back in 2002. And I'm like, I want to be like him. And I was like, I want to meet this guy. Now, back then, I believe you were selling around 300 homes a year, roughly, and which was really high back then. 300. Yes.
Has anyone sold 300 homes?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Like
That's
that.
right.
Not yet. Well, he was so busy that when I tried to get a hold of him, his gatekeepers kept me out of the office, right? Because he was running a big team. And it wasn't until, I don't know, like 2008 or 9, we bumped into each other again, and the market had crashed. This man's life was turned upside down, right? His dad had passed, getting divorced or in the process, right? The market was in Illinois. We lost over 50% market value in our properties, and you were not doing too well.
No.
So I want to come out and just say, look, listen, everybody, you're seeing a finished product. He went through a hell of a lot to get here. And he did go from E to P, back to E, hitting his head on the ceiling, and he's still looking to get better. All right. So I wanted to start off with that. He's a very dear friend. I was his director of operations for couple of years, maybe, in Illinois. And I'm just really excited to bring him here. All right, or have the program, apologize, to bring him here. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say, sir. All right,
Yes.
come on, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you know, one of the things that I am so thankful for is people like Steve in my life, because like he shared, we didn't get together based on talking about success and talking about, you know, how we were, you know, conquering the world and doing great things. We came together in our lack, in our despair, in our pain. And so when I look at my life experience based on some of the things that Steve just shared, it lets me know that Steve was my friend. He was there for me. And the thing I want to just state is these three gentlemen here are there for you. They felt strong enough about you that they wanted to bring you something, me, that I might be able to share that might make a difference, not in your career, but in your life. And when you have people like that in your corner that want to pour into you like that, they really want to impact you like that, you got to count that as something that is special. So I think that we all ought to give a warm thank you to these three gentlemen that thought enough about you to want to create this room and this experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My Lord, I tell you, as I was getting ready this morning, one of the things that I must say, and I'm going to be transparent, because everything in life doesn't go the way that you want. And life is not just about great upward experiences. You got to deal with all facets of life. And one of the things that I have had the opportunity to use is my prayer life. Now, everybody might have their own, you know, religion or spiritual experiences, but I always start my day in prayer. I always start my day there because there's power in that. And when you go through the ups and downs of life, if you don't have an opportunity to tap into something that can guide your path, that can prepare your walk, that can give you favor in the highest moments and the most darkest moments, you're missing out. I start my day giving thanks. I start my day giving honor to him who woke me up. So I don't want to confuse you guys. I do tap into a power, and it's a power higher than anything. Okay, I'm not trying to preach. I'm really not. You know what? What I'd like to do is I like to start off with this concept called being free. Being free. Are you all free? So if you would do me a favor, and take your cell phones out. Everybody got one. Take your cell phone out, take your cell phone out, take your cell phone out. And I want you to prepare it like you get ready to take a selfie. Take a selfie, take a selfie, take a selfie. And when okay, everybody has their phone. So one, on the count of three, 1, 2, 3, look at that person. Look at that person. Look at that person. And here's the question. I want you to ask that person, are you free? Are you free? Are you free? Are you free? Now, free to do what? Free to do what?
Any and everything.
Free to dream. free to dream? Are you free to dream? Now, the litmus test to that question is who's living their dream right now? Okay, good. Who else living their dream? Okay. Now, here's the thing. Everybody in this room has something special that happened to you early this morning. And you were given something that wasn't promised. Each and every person in this room was given something that wasn't promised, and it was life. And your life was conceived for you to live in total freedom to dream. So as we go into the day, I want you guys to understand something. You can be who you want to be. You can do anything you want to do, and you can become whoever it is you want to become. But it doesn't fall down from the sky. It does not come in your mailbox or your email. There is something required from each and every one of us when we open our eyes up in the morning. And that's for us to understand that what's given to you, you have to give back to it. Now, one of the things about this business, and I'm gonna keep it real simple as I get into this presentation. This business is very simple. I was telling a young lady, you can make a lot of money in the real estate business. It's very simple. You can make a lot of money in the real estate business if you do one thing. It's just one thing. Help a lot of people. But just think about that. Who wants to make a lot of money? Who wants to make a lot of money? Okay. Now, who wants to help a lot of people? Thank you. Thank you. You are on your way. Because one has everything to do with the other. Okay. The distance between dreams and reality is called action. It's called action. Now, I've been doing this a long time. A long time. I know I don't look like I'll be 64 my birthday. I've been doing this a long time, and I got the scars to prove it. And of course, when you've done something a long time, time over task, you can do some pretty wonderful things. And I've sold a lot of properties, and I tell you this, and Steve will tell you, I have not really sold a lot of homes to buyers. Really, I haven't worked with a buyer in 28 years. I don't now wait a minute now. Buyers are important. It takes a buyer also, but I have only specialized and operated and mastered or attempted to master in the space of listings. That's all I've done is list properties. That's all I've done. All I've done is list properties. I only work with the seller. I only wake up in the morning thinking about sellers. I only spend all my time trying to figure out how I can get another one. That's all I do. That's all I do. That's all I do, okay? Now, of course, I've received the rewards and you know, one of the things I must say now, I come from a corporate background. I was a marketing executive with Xerox Corporation right out of college. and then I worked for IBM. So I was always in this corporate sale environment. So when I got into the real estate business and somebody told me that you could be successful selling real estate, I didn't believe them. I thought, to be very candid, selling real estate? Please. I didn't think that that was prestigious or anything. Little did I know. Now, one thing about me, and I know this is going to blow you away, I was a hockey player. I played ice hockey. I was a pretty good athlete playing ice hockey. And my life has been somewhat very unique in the sense that my mom was a domestic. So she cleaned house for wealthy people in the North Shore of Chicago. And their kids played hockey. So my mom would, take them to the rink and have to pick them up. And when I would have the opportunity to go with her in the summer after school and get in the car with the boys, and they had all their equipment and they were playing. We were all about 7, 8 years old, and take them to the rink. One time she said, I can stay with them, and I'm looking at them playing and the coaches and everything and so forth. And one of the days the coach came up to the window and say, hey, you come in. And I go down and they ask me, they say, have you ever played hockey before? I said, no. And they said, would you like to? I said, yeah. So they took me in the dressing room. They put all this equipment on me. I never skated, never played, never nothing. And they put all this equipment. And again, I'm a little guy, so they picked me up. They set me in front of this cage. And he said, now take this puck, and make sure it don't go in there. So they put me there, and I falling and skipping, but that started a love affair of my life. So from the age of 8 years old until the age of 20, all my life, all I wanted to do was play in the NHL. That's all I wanted to do. It led me to college. It got me an education. I didn't make the NHL, but as my mama say, boy, you didn't turn out too bad. No, these aren't all my teeth. These aren't all my teeth. And I've had a full life. I have 4 kids. My oldest son, firstborn, of course, he's going to be a hockey player. I'm going to train him personally. I gave him the name. If you see the name up there, Chrétien. It's pronounced Chrétien, although we pronounce it Christian, spelled Chrétien. So I gave him the French name because I was a Montreal Canadian fan growing up. I gave him the name. I put him on skates at 2 years old, just like all the other Canadians do before they get out of diapers, they're on the ice. And I was doing the same thing. I was preparing him. He was going to go to the NHL. He's going to do what I couldn't do. I was going to make sure of it. Man, I put this kid on the ice, and he did not like how cold it was. He didn't like all the falling down. He didn't like not being in control of himself. He did not like it. He did not like it. And I was just heartbroken. Oh, I gave him the French name. And that summer, we're in the backyard, and he has the wiffle bat, and I got the wiffle ball, and I'm just tossing it to him. And he was just boom, boom. And I'm like, wow, let me throw it harder. Boom. And this kid just had this eye-hand coordination. Well, lo and behold, he liked baseball. And he went on to play professional baseball for about 5 years. Actually, I used to come to Florida all the time because he played for the Detroit Tigers, and their training facility is in Lakeland. So I spent a lot of time in this area touring the various minor league camps, et cetera, when they had games. And so he didn't make it. He didn't become, we spent tens of thousands of games and practices and everything, but he went far. It was a great experience. My daughter, Mercedes, lives in DC now, doing very well for herself. My son, Savion, works on my team. Incidentally, Christian does too, although he just left my team. My oldest son, my heir apparent, the one I want to just take over, he's not even on my team anymore. Why? Because I'm the coach. And when the coach is in the son's ear, he tunes you out. So he's going through some things right now. He does very well for himself. He just doesn't want to do it the way daddy say, do it. So he got to figure it out for himself. How many of us have those same experiences? Got to figure it out for themselves. Even we have to figure it out for ourselves sometime. And then my other daughter is in Washington, D.C. The state of Washington. She's in her second year of law school. So I have a great life. I have 2 small grandbabies. I have a full life, man. It is great. I wake up in the morning knowing that God is going to use me in a powerful way. Now, have you ever felt like this? Who in here is new? We thinking about ourselves, thinking about, do I have what it takes? Will they like me? Do I fit in? Am I unsure of what I can say? I can't believe I quit my job. Who's had that feeling? And this is tough. This is tough business. You know the old saying, that's why they pay us the big bucks? Here's the thing. We talked about being free. You have to be free and willing, as the principles of the E2P concept tells us, you have to be willing to learn something that you don't know right now. You can't play in the NHL and you don't go through the tens of thousands of games and practices, et cetera. You can't sell 300 and 400 homes or 50 homes if you don't know what you're doing. You got to learn something new. And you have to do it over and over again. Now, one of the things that Gary Keller talks about is this concept called failure and getting into it quicker. How many in here loves to fail? Yeah, that's Ginger. But here's the concept. The key to growth is failure. Now just think about that for a second. The key to your future is your willingness to fail. What if it was as if the key to your life was drinking water, drinking fluids? What if you drank water in your body? And everybody in here, that's why you're alive. What if you did failure the same way? What if you approached failure the same way? What if you took the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to do what the coaches said, and you failed, and then considered that a good thing? That's like a muscle. You know, you talk about great sports athletes, and man, you guys got a great sports town. The Heat, the Panthers, the Dolphins. No, I didn't mean the Dolphins. But the point of the matter is, you get Chicago. Yeah, not well. Not well. But you got to be willing to fail. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do this morning is I broke down some things that I think is important. And I'm going to try to get through it all. And I hope that you guys will open yourselves up to what I'm about to share, because I'm sharing it with intentionality. I'm sharing it in a way where I really want you to let it get on the inside of you. Each and every person in here is unique in who you are. And each person, when you allow great things to come on the inside of you and then move out of the way, you saw that person that I asked that question to. Each of you saw that person, right? That's the person that's trying to get in your way. That's the person that's trying to prevent you from experiencing the greatness. That is the person that's trying to stop that greatness to come out of you. Just think about that. That person is the culprit. That person is the one that's trying to prevent all your dreams from coming true. And we can't let it happen. We got to be willing to do whatever's necessary to move that person out of the way. And if you're willing to move that person out of the way, you will experience a utopia of lifting in your feet and launching of your life and an unfolding of your path that will allow you to have things you never had, do things you've never done, and become who you were always intended to become. But you got to move that person out of the way. And it starts with the right attitude. You got to have the right attitude. You got to have the right attitude. Who can go into a marriage and don't want to communicate and don't give a rat's tail about the other person and it end up good? It's just not going to happen. You got to have the right attitude. So if I'm going to, this is interactive. I had a couple people that said they were going to help me out. So would you read that out loud, please?
Having a great attitude is contagious. Attitude and belief are powerful forces when intertwined. It shapes our mindset, actions, and ultimately our destiny. Attitude is the outlook through which we view the world. It's our mentality, our perspective on life. It's about choosing how we respond to circumstances and challenges. Attitude is the foundation on which everything else is built. Belief is the fuel that drives our attitude. It's the conviction that we are capable, that our goals, our dreams are within reach. Belief empowers us to push past limitations, to persevere when others might give up. It gives you the ammunition to make your goals or dream become your truth.
So to have the right attitude, you have to believe. You have to believe. And one of the things that that person who's on that screen that gets in your way, they don't believe, but you do. You believe, but they don't really believe. Do you know that just moving into belief, just that one simple principle, will unleash the greatness that's on the inside of you? Now, let me give you an example. When I got into the real estate business, my first year I sold 17 homes. Now, today somebody will say that's pretty good. I didn't think it was squat because I was in the Chicagoland area, so the price points are so much lower than they are here. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was a professional sales guy, but I did not have the understanding of what to do. So I'm at the copier waiting for someone to make a copy. It was the end of my first year. Guy was taking a picture copy of his 1099. I think I had made like 69,000 and he had made like 180. And I, just candidly speaking, being transparent, I thought he was a pretty nice guy. I didn't think he was any better than me in, selling. But I looked at his 1099 and I said, does that say 180,000? This is in 1994. And I said, you guys making this kind of money in this business? And he said, yeah. And he said, and you can too. I said, well, what do you do? I mean, what did you do to make all this money? He said, well, I list. I said, you list? What's that? He said, well, I just work with sellers. I say, oh, well, how did you get them? He says, well, I went and I called on for sale by owners and expired cancel listing. I say, okay. I say, well, where do you get the information from? He say, well, I go to the classified ads and get the for sale by owners and I take the expireds out. And he was just giving me what he does. How did he do it? Now, what did I do? I didn't add nothing to it. I didn't take nothing away from it. I just did what he said because I had the right attitude and I had the right belief that I could do the same thing. Why don't we believe when these coaches tell you and share with you and encourage you? And why don't you do what they say? It's because we don't believe it. Our attitude is such that, well, I hear what he's saying. It sounds good. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it. And then 5 minutes later, you're doing something else. Because we fall to our comfort zone. We fall into a level of unbelief. We don't have the right attitude. Now I'm going to say something here. It might be controversial, but in this sales business, not the real estate business, not the luxury business, not this business, you are in the sales business. And I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to just be very frank. If you don't like talking to people, you might as well get out of your chair and grace this carpet as you walk out the door. I don't care if you're beautiful, if you can talk to the clouds and they turn and flip. I don't care if you got the power of persuasion, all that kind of stuff. If you don't like talking to people, it's not going to work for you. You got to be willing to talk to people. If you are lazy, that's an attitude, because you can choose to be lazy or not. If you don't like talking to people and you are lazy, this is the wrong business. It just is. It just is. But if you are willing to have the right attitude, you can unlock the personal growth which fuels your success and transform your challenges into triumphs. When I first started in the business listing properties, I got on the phone and I was talking to people and I was getting the opportunity to share and have appointments. And I go on listing appointments and I didn't get the listing. And I go on listing appointments and I got the listing. And I go on listing appointments and I don't get the listing. And give you an example. One of the most consequential gentlemen in my life, a guy by the name of Ron Wexler. Ron is our OP. And he also was one of these guys that when I was on the phone, you know, lead generating for listings with for sale by owners, expired cancel listings. And one day he called me. I knew who he was because his signs was every doggone where. He says, "Hi, James." What are you calling me for? "Hey, this is Ron Wexler. And I wanted to just let you know that appointment that you're going on at 2 o'clock, the sellers told me to give you a call and let you know that he gave me the listing and he felt so bad because he really liked you and he liked what you were sharing. But I told him that I would give you a call myself and give you the opportunity to bring your buyer by first before anyone else can. It's a script. And I'm on the other end of the phone and I'm like, this son of a, what the heck? Said. And I got off the phone and I'm dejected. I'm pissed off. I'm hurt. How did this happen? But you know what I did? You know what I moved into? You know what I experienced? Failure, a challenge, an obstacle, something that didn't go my way, something that happened that I didn't have no control of. But what did I do? I went next. I got back on the phone and I kept calling and setting appointments, doing presentation, getting the listing, not getting the listing, failing, learning, keep going, didn't stop, didn't let myself get in the way because I was hurt and dejected. I kept going. So I'm at a listing appointment. And the lady signed the paperwork and ring, ring, ring. Oh, hold on. Hello? Uh-huh. Yeah, this is me. Oh, yeah, I know, but I got it all taken care of. Just a realtor. Yeah. Yeah, no, I got it taken care of. What's their name? I'm sorry, what's your name? Ron Wexler? I say, hey, Ron, how you doing? Hey, man, listen, if you got a buyer, I won't do anything until you bring your buyer by. But guess what he did? He said next too. He went on. So the point is, you're gonna fail in this business if you're getting up every day doing what you're supposed to do. But you're gonna have challenges, you're gonna have obstacles. And the key to having the right attitude, yeah, we ain't talking about conversions. We ain't talking about, arithmetic, mathematical formulas. We talking about your attitude. Showing up. Are you going to have some setbacks and adversity in this business? How often? Huh? Let me tell you I'm gonna tell you a secret. You know the business you guys are in. I said the sales business, but I was really trying to just say something that might sound good and important and all that kind of stuff. But let me tell you the business that you're really in. You're in the rejection business. You are in the rejection business. You're going to get rejected all the time. And the thing that I realized is the more times I got rejected, the more money I made. To the point that I told Mike Ferry, and it made his presentation points, that you're in the rejection business, and the more times you're rejected, the more money you make. Now just think about that for a second. Your goal is not to make all these contacts and all these presentations, but if you just said to yourself and said, you know what, I am not gonna stop today doing my activity until I'm rejected 50 times a day. Think about that. How many times is 50 rejections a day times 5? How many? How about times 21? Can somebody tell me? I need the number. Y'all got calculators. Come on. How many? 3,000. Multiply that times 12. 36,000. 36,000 times being told no in a year. Multiply that times 1%. Divide that by 4. Huh? 80? 80? Huh? 90? What's y'all average commission? What's 90 times 10 grand? Who would like to make $900,000 a year? And I can go home. That's a plan in itself. I'm going to get rejected 50 times a day. I am not going to stop. I'm going to walk up this beach and talk to these people that got shorts on and no t-shirt. Hi, my name is James. And man, you look like you're really in shape. Let me ask you a question. Have you thought about making any real estate decisions this month or within the next couple of years? How many times you probably gonna get somebody to tell you I ain't doing nothing? A lot. But just something as silly as saying I'm gonna do that 50 times a day because I know I'm gonna get told no. And then at the end of the day, you don't get excited about the fact that somebody said they want to do something. You get excited about you met your 50 no's. That's what you get excited about. Just imagine, at the end of the week, you at the happy hour celebrating because you got your 250 no's in this week. It's the way you think about it, right? A great attitude will have a positive effect on your work performance, which is the fundamental principle that sets apart exceptional individuals and organizations from the rest. That's what we were just talking about. You got to work in this business. You got to work to be told no 50 times a day. That's the business that we're in. We're in the business of interacting with people. But you got to have the attitude. You have to have the right posture in your mindset to understand that it's the activities. It's the activities. It's not the outcome. It's the activities. It's not the outcome. You have to stop thinking that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, the end of the month, that you're chasing money. You're chasing activity. The activity is the fuel. When you believe in yourself, you unleash your true potential, which enables you to move beyond your comfort zone, and there's no dream too big, no mountain too high. No dream too big and no mountain too high if you believe that you can walk up and down these streets and say, I'm going to get told no 50 times before I end my day, and believe that you're doing the right thing. Now, I got to tell you, I get it. That's something to get used to. Something to get used to, man. What the heck? I'm going out and I'm going to put myself in a position, and the only thing I'm tracking is I got to be told no 50 times today. 50 times a day. Man, that don't sound fun. That don't sound bold. It doesn't sound strategic. It doesn't sound like it's some kind of special marketing campaign. It don't sound like a mailer. It doesn't sound like something magnificent. It's just being told no. I just have to go and back home and to my spouse or my kids, and I can get that all day long. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. You getting used to no is one of the key foundational principles of success in this business. Now, I can't emphasize this enough, because if you get this part, if you get this simple part, you're gonna be told no. And the more times you're told no, the more money you're gonna make. So you gotta look for the no. You gotta look for the adversity. You gotta look for the person that calls you out your name. You gotta look, oh man, they called me a son of a gun. Man, that's a no. You gotta look for that every day. And when you shift your attitude to reflect that, that is the foundational principle of success in this business. Your belief, our beliefs shape our reality, and a negative mindset can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are what you believe you are. In the words of Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Believe you can and you will, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. You choose. That's why that person that was in the phone, you got to move them out the way. You got to move them out of the way. I know you guys are looking at me, but I want you to look at that person. They're the culprit. They're the ones standing in the way of the greatness on the inside of you to come out. Move them out of the way. Now that's intentionality. That's going from E to P. Move that son of a gun out of the way. You got to do that. Second thing, motivation. Now, here's something that I had to learn myself, because there's this concept where you can have someone come in before you and speak and get you all riled up and get you all fired up, and you're gonna go out and you're gonna walk on hot coals and just champion the day. You're not gonna go and find a pill called motivation and take it and now you motivated. It's not gonna happen. You gotta come to the table motivated. It's a choice we make every day to stay committed to our assignment that forces us to rise to the occasion. The greatest achievements in human history were once deemed impossible until someone, sparked by fierce motivation, dared to challenge the status quo. They possessed a relentless determination to pursue what others deem unattainable. And it is this audacity that propels us beyond the confines of what society deems feasible. Let me tell you, one of the pivotal moments in my life, I got hurt. My ankle, I had severely sprained my ankle, and it wouldn't heal. And I couldn't get back on the ice. And the coach just said, James, I mean, I'm sorry, buddy, but we're gonna have to let you go. I said, but I'm working hard. I said, we know, James, we know, but you know, we just think we're gonna move in a different direction. And that was it. I walked from the arena back to the student union. All I wanted to do in my life was to become an NHL goalie. And at that time, maybe 18 years was down the drain. So as I came into the student union, I met a gentleman I knew who he was. He was a upperclassman. He had just graduated the semester prior. And, you know, he was in a fraternity, not the one I was in, but he was in a fraternity. And I will say that even when I was a freshman and sophomore in college, I used to wear suits. I did. And I used to carry a briefcase. I did. Because I just had this thing that I wanted to be a businessman one day. And so this guy, Rodney Patterson, came up, and the thing that I noted about him right out the gate is he was getting out of a brand new Honda Accord. Now, this was back in 1980. He had this gray, brand new Honda Accord, beautiful car. And then he came out of the car, and Rodney only wore jeans, gym shoes, and an army fatigue coat and a skull cap. He got out of the car with this beautiful gray flannel suit. He had on some beautiful black, you know, Allen Edmonds. He had on a beautiful white shirt, crispy tie. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, he said, well, I'm here because I'm part of the career day. It's a career day upstairs, and I'm representing my company. He said, here, take that box. You can help me come up. So I'm walking with him. I'm saying, well, what company you work with? He say, Xerox. I say, Xerox? I say, what do they do? He say, well, we sell technology and duplicating systems and strategic technology products. I say, wow. And I'm setting the box down on the table, and I'm looking at him. I'm thinking about that great brand new Honda Accord outside, and I'm saying to myself, what did you major in? He said, I majored in marketing. Now, up to that point, I had not declared a major. And after I left that encounter with Rodney Patterson, I said, I'm going into marketing. And I said, I'm going to work for Xerox. Just like that, I had fortified in my mind that I was going to take on the motivation to who I wanted to become for my future. Now, of course, the story thickens. How do you cultivate motivation? It begins with finding our why. What is the purpose that fuels our desires? What are the dreams and aspirations that make our hearts beat faster? I wanted a new Honda. I wanted to work with a company like the one that I researched, Xerox. I really did. I thought it was fun. I thought it would be cool. I saw his business card. It said Rodney Patterson, marketing executive. Man, that set me on fire of what the possibilities were. We tap into our hidden potential, discover strengths we never knew we had, and go the extra mile to surpass our own expectation and achieve greatness. So my junior year, I went and got a marketing internship because I figured out that if I am going to get a job at Xerox Corporation, I need to prepare myself. So I had done the research. Well, James, if you get a marketing internship and then your senior year, you start interviewing, that's going to set you apart from people who don't have a marketing internship. So I got a marketing internship. I had a great resume. I was the president of my fraternity. All these great things. And so I started interviewing with Xerox my senior year. I interviewed with Xerox in Grand Rapids. I interviewed for Xerox in Lansing. I interviewed for Xerox in Detroit. And each time, talking about motivation, each time I went to the last round of the interview, You know, you go talk to one person, and then if you meet that benchmark, then you go talk to the 3 sales managers, and you meet that benchmark, then you take the test, and you meet that benchmark. You're just waiting for them to tell you got the job. I went through 3 offices in Michigan to the last round of interviews and didn't get the job. Then when I graduated, I came back home to Chicago, and I interviewed downtown Chicago. I interviewed in Oak Brook. Last rounds, didn't get the job. And then I got a call from one of my fraternity brothers from Detroit. His name was Kenneth Hodge. Now, Kenny was the jokester of the fraternity. He did okay in school. He wasn't the swiftest person, but he was a good signifier. You know that friend you got that's always talking about somebody and he does it well? And even though you know that you can, you know, spin him and do better than him educationally, presentation-wise, resume-wise, everything, he wasn't even a competition. He was just my frat brother. You're over in the corner, man, get out the way. He called me to tell me that he got the job at Xerox. And you know, he tore me a new behind up, down. I thought my behind was in my eyeball. He talked about me. Oh, you thought you was this, you thought you was that. Oh, I kept telling y'all I was the one, I was the winner, I was the one. And I felt so bad as he was talking about me that I was crying on the phone, crying tears. But then he told me something. He said, James, look, man, I know you've been dreaming about this job. You was telling everybody about Xerox. You was telling everybody about what you were going to do and everything. But all you need to do, talking about motivation, all you need to do is go get this book called How to Get a Better Job Quicker by Richard Payne. And that's going to do it for you because you deserve the job. This is what he was saying in the end. So bless him, Kenny. So I went and got the book. I read it from cover to cover. I wrote notes. And there was one more branch in Illinois that I can interview with in Schaumburg. So I went on the interview. And you know the question that they ask you. So James, tell me a little bit about you. Now, when we're in these type of situations, you know, oh, well, I had an internship and this is what I did. And, you know, and I was the president of my fraternity and I learned leadership skills. And I'm a hard worker. I'm a team player and so forth and so on. And I'm talking and talking and talking and talking. And then, oh, man, that's great, James. Wonderful. But I never got the job. James, I'm gonna tell you, you would make a great Xerox salesperson. I didn't get the job. But this time when they asked me the question, now I want you to watch this. So James, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, I got to tell you, Ms. Barber, I was so excited when I got up this morning knowing that I was going to be speaking with you because I realized that not only is Xerox a leader in the technological product form, but they are the type of company that pushes their people to excellence. And of course, I know that I can continue talking on and on about me, but I think it'd be more relevant if I had a better understanding of the person that you're looking for in this position. Tell me, what are you looking for? Boom. Did that shift the conversation? What was that? What was that? It was a script. It was a script. Who in here have heard about scripts? You got to be motivated to do things that people are sharing and encouraging you to do that you might not have done before. The fact that you've never done some things before don't have a damn thing to do with what you think it ought to be. Stop putting that person on the phone in your way from making that pivot. That script was a pivot. Oh, I ate them all up. I ate them up. And just to close that out, so certainly, when I got my territory, so I'm in training, they say if you make 20 cold calls a day, you're going to be successful in this business. 20 cold calls a day. So when I got my territory, my first territory, my business card was Xerox, my suit on, my Allen Edmond, my Chris White shirt, my briefcase. When I was going in those offices and buildings and making my cold call, and I get in my territory, it was about 7:20, 25, get out my car, start my cold calling. And man, it was about 10:15. And I had my 20 calls in. I said, man, I got my 20 calls in. But I have such a good time going in these offices. I just kept going in the offices. Hi, my name's James Mattz. May I speak with the office manager? I just kept doing it. In that first month, they say if you get 2 sales a month, that's a great career. You're gonna be a great, if you get 3 to 5, oh, you're walking on water. You get 7 or more, you're a superstar. I got 15 sales my first 30 days. And then the next month I got 22. And everybody thought I was out in the field doing something fraudulent. But guess what I was doing? I was making 100 contacts a day because I didn't get involved in the way you're supposed to do it. I made my own rule. And my rule was I was having fun, knocking on doors, being told no. I was just excited being in the room. You understand what I'm saying? You got to be motivated. You got to be willing to go the extra mile. This is an extra mile business. This is a pushing past where you at business. This is a moving that person out of the way business. You got to move, that person is the enemy. Get out my damn way. I can't emphasize that enough. You got to be willing to go the extra mile. It helps us push beyond our comfort zone, embrace the challenges, and grow in ways we never thought possible. Motivation is not about some feeling. Because some days you ain't gonna feel like it. But what the hell does that have to do with the tea in China? Your car needs gas to put in it. And if it don't have none, it ain't going nowhere. You got to put on the inside of that person that's trying to get in your way, you got to put that person on notice that you're not stopping me no more. I'm the boss. I want to get there. I'm willing to go the extra mile. I'm willing to do what's necessary. You got to, hey, this is not for the faint of heart. But you got to seize the moment. You got to understand how close each and every person in this room is to making $900,000 a year. That's some nice money, y'all. And it's totally doable in this market. Totally doable in this market. Without choosing to be motivated, we risk falling to a state of stagnation and becoming a typical agent. How many people in this room know typical agents? Come on now. How many of y'all in here know somebody that's a typical agent? You got to push past where you are. And you got to be willing to understand that if you're willing to be uncomfortable, and what is being uncomfortable? It's doing stuff that you don't normally do. And when you understand that in order to get that greatness on the inside of you out, all you have to do is push past that which is comfortable, and now you're uncomfortable, and keep pushing past that uncomfortable into more uncomfort. And as you push past that uncomfort, you keep pushing past. And is that E to P? Is that E to P? Man, how they came up with these concepts in this company is really something. There will be obstacles and failures and moments of self-doubt along the way. But it's in those moments our motivation must burn brightest. I could have easily said, man, this Xerox ain't for me. I could have easily said that. I could have easily said, man, getting these listings and making all these calls and getting all these people hanging up on me, calling me out my name. Man, this is not fun. This is not what I was expecting. But I had to know and understand that again, I chose the point of recognizing that I don't give a rat's tail about being told no. I didn't give a rat's tail about being uncomfortable. Matter of fact, it was in my uncomfort that my greatness came out. That's where you gotta live. You gotta live here as opposed to here. You gotta push past here. Am I making a point? Okay. So we know that there are going to be obstacles. We should seek motivation from external sources by surrounding ourselves with people who are uplifted, who share the same ambition, who are reading books, listen to motivational speeches, being in rooms like this. You cannot fly like an eagle hanging around rabbits. Hey, no pun intended. But it's some people, when they see you pushing past, they're going to treat you like you got a booty in your eyeball. They're going to treat you like you doing something wrong. Eagles hang out with eagles. And you cannot allow that person that we were looking at earlier to prevent you from soaring. But it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice that you have to make. So which way will you choose? Will you choose that person on that phone, or will you choose that person that's sitting in these seats that will say, no more, no more? Let me tell you something. Who gets up in the morning at the same time every day? Who in here is making, full transparency, no judgment, who's getting up in the morning and getting into an action of activity every day, whether the sun is out or not? Who's not doing that? Okay, thank you for your transparency. That's the key. It ain't no joke wrapped up in no riddle. It ain't no special formula that's coming out of some special hidden playbook. You just got to get up every day and get into action at the same time and end at the same time, and you're going to get that $900,000. A journey is 1,000 miles, but it begins with one step, with one. Commitment is not a one-time decision, but a daily choice. It requires discipline and a deep belief in your capabilities. When faced with distractions or doubts, or it reminds yourself of your commitment, and let it be the vision that moves you. Embrace the power of commitment because it propels you toward extraordinary achievement. Refuse to settle for your best, but striving for your client's best. We said on the onset that this business is about helping people. There is no greater vocation in our society that speaks to the hearts and soul of people than the place they lay their head or the area that they put their dollars in, that they're expecting great things to happen from it. And real estate is by far the one vehicle that each and every person in this room is involved in. So you are at the basic element of life that people deal with on an intimate basis, right? So you have to choose to put yourself in a position to help somebody. I was talking to the gentleman in the back. When you are talking to people every day strategically, and what I mean by strategically, when you are presenting the right attitude, when you are choosing to be motivated, and you are talking to people strategically every day with an intentionality that my goal is to help somebody today. And in order for me to do that, I need to talk to 50 people a day, hook or crook. And I'm not excited about what happens from the person that I spoke with. I'm excited by the 50 people that I talked to today and the 250 people that I talked to this week and the whatever thousands that I spoke with this year. That's the thing that got me excited. Now, that's a commitment. You can choose that. That's a process that lays a foundation beneath you that you can build on top of. And I'm going to share that with you on how that happens. Commitment to your mission enriches your professional relationships, which will have profound impact on your success. When we prioritize our clients' best interests, we demonstrate a genuine commitment to their well-being and satisfaction. It requires us to listen attentively, understand their unique challenges, and tailor our solutions to meet their specific needs. By doing so, we establish trust, building lasting relationships, and position ourselves as valuable partners in their journey. It's personal. We don't chase commission. We chase providing solutions to people. We don't chase commissions. See, if you're in here, many of us, we got into this business because we wanted more freedom. We wanted to set our own schedule and we wanted to make more money. Now just think about that for a second. We wanted to have freedom to do what we want to do. So we want to have freedom to get up when we want to get up. How many people in here had a job before? Work for somebody? Did you have to be at the job at a certain time? Did you have to do certain things that somebody else told you you had to do? And in the real estate space is the one space that people struggle with that very thing, even though they were just doing it for somebody else. And you won't even do it for yourself. So freedom is not the freedom unless you're doing what makes you free. When you work for yourself, freedom is following a schedule. Freedom to follow a schedule. Freedom is not just doing what you want to do. It's freedom to set the course yourself. Freedom to execute your plan of action. Freedom to choose to be responsible and accountable to the goals that you have set forth. That's what the freedom is about. It ain't a freedom to do what you want to do. It's freedom to do what you say you're going to do. Am I making sense? Take consistent action towards your real estate goals, even when the path forward seems uncertain or difficult. Create manageable steps and celebrate each milestone achieved. Stay focused and dedicated, knowing that every effort brings you closer to fulfillment. It's when you set the path that the outcome of that path starts to unfold. When you make the decision that you're going to execute every day based on a plan of action that you had the freedom to conceive and the ability to network with people in the business that know specifically those benchmarks, those strategy points, those special considerations, those leverageable activities. They can share that with you, that you can input in your plan and you can execute it. You have the freedom to do that. And when you do it consistently, it's not a mathematical ingenious formula. It just works. Just like we're breathing. We're all breathing humans. That's why we know we're alive. Now, who in here hears a quiet voice in you saying your breathing pattern is off right now? It's just happening on its own. And that's how you have to get your business. But you have to conceive it. You have the freedom to author the path. And then you have the freedom to execute it with all of your might, with all of your heart, with all of your energy to create outcomes helping people buy and sell real estate. So I challenge each and every one of you. Make the change right now. Let today, June 23rd, 2023, to be a monumental moment in your life. Let today be the day that you said to yourself, you know what? I believe that I can make the right choices for my life. I'm looking at this marketplace here, and the fact that the average price and the average commission is $10,000 and $12,000 and $15,000. And what I see is people who get one or two sales and they get all chipperty and excited. Stop that person on that phone from allowing you to play the game short. Because certainly if you can sell 2, you can sell 8. you know what? I know you guys, because here in Florida, everywhere I drive, I see these Maseratis and these Lamborghinis and these Rolls Royces and all these kind of things and so forth and so on. And yeah, these are, I guess, status symbols, et cetera, and so forth. And here's the thing: I don't know what your goals in life is. Maybe some of you, oh, look at that person in that Rolls Royce. Who they think they are? I don't know why they spend all that money on that car. Yeah, my car still gets me there the same way. Listen. Here's the thing. There's somebody in each and every person's life in this room that's looking at you and sizing up who they can be based on you. And if you are the catalyst to showing as an example of what the possibilities are, just think of the tremendous legacy that you're setting, not only for yourselves, but for your significant others, your children, your friends, your family. See, this is bigger than that person that's in that screen. This is so much bigger. I have experienced rising to be a young guy in business and investing in rental properties and becoming a millionaire on paper and then losing it all and then climbing back out of it and going the route again and then exceeding where I was. And now I'm in a frontier where now I'm just trying to be used in a way that I can help others achieve their goals and aspirations by being a living example for them. Because if I could do it, you know, I come from the south side of Chicago. Nothing fancy. My dad worked in a factory all his life. My mother cleaned houses for wealthy people. I'm first generation. I was the first one to go to college. But look at what their child, James and Mary's child, was able to do because I was willing to step out of who I was and where I was. And that's what I want for you guys, to take the leap of faith, pursue your passions with unbreakable willpower, to prove to yourself in the world that you can commit, endure, and don't hesitate in your pursuit of greatness. Embrace it. Embrace it. Embrace it. Embrace it. Embrace the challenge. Embrace the work that it's going to take. Embrace the impossibility of others that will look at you and say, oh, you can't do that. Don't let that deter you. You be the catalyst and you stand up and you make a stand for the people in your life. And when you do that, you usher in a whole nother element. You usher in a whole nother realm of possibility. And then you become the person that God has intended for you to be. And that is to spread positivity, spread the impossible nature of what success is to most people, which is just a pipe dream. You were able to get into a realm of saying that I can, that I must, and that it was you. So I want to share something with you personal. I lost my dad. I lost my marriage. and I lost 80% of my money in a matter of 18 months, all at the same time. And the only thing that kept my mind sane was the fact that in spite of everything that was happening around me, which was doom and gloom, all I knew is if I went into the office, got on the phones and made my calls, that something good was going to happen because I had proven it. So I didn't stop what I was doing because of what was happening in my life. No matter how despair it got, no matter how much lack was in my bank account, I kept pursuing, I kept pushing, I kept that person that was on that phone. I said, no, we ain't gonna sit here. We're not gonna sit here and sulk. We're not gonna sit here and have a pity party. We're gonna continue getting our nose every day. And no, I wasn't closing, 10, 15 deals every 30 days minimum. I wasn't closing months where I was closing 25, 30 deals in a month. No, I was closing 5 and 6 and 7. Now just get that. I was down, but I was closing 5, 6, 7, 8 deals a month when the market was at its worst. But that was only because I kept believing. I kept pushing. And if you and everyone in this room believe what I'm about to say, you can too. You can do it. You must do it. You must do it. You must do it. And then you'll be able to look at that person and say, see what we did. Thank you, guys. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to open it up for Q&A. And here's the key. This is a space that we can all learn if you're willing to be transparent and to participate. If you can play the game all out in a room like this, that makes it so much easier to play the game out there. Does that make sense? Meaning that if you're outward and inquisitive and curious in here, then you can take the information in here to apply it out there. So I want you guys to feel comfortable. Feel comfortable. Again, that's part of moving that person out of the way by being demonstrative right now. So let's get into the attitude of really wanting to share and really wanting to grow and really wanting to learn, okay, in this space. Because I got to tell you, my mama tells me, oh, don't ask him nothing about how to fix no hot water tank. Don't ask him nothing about how to fix a leaky faucet. Don't ask him nothing about nothing to do with nothing. But if you ask him about real estate, he can talk to you all day long. So let's start. Go ahead.
So as I heard you say, start with buyer, they switched over to the I'm at that point now.
Mhm.
Work with buyers, so just switched over to try to
Mhm.
and they all pretty much go to get July.
Mhm.
But I sat down and asked the question about how to find these properties correctly. My kids already asked the signs outside of that MLS.
Mhm.
So outside of that MLS, because I was told it's the MLS, but
Mhm.
outside of that MLS, how to market the property, how to just make this.
So the question was about listings and how she's worked with buyers and now she's getting 3 listings. Congratulations. And what do you do? Okay. First off, here's one of the biggest lessons that I learned in this business. And I'm about to say something that's contrary to what some of you all might think. The only purpose of a listing, right? The only purpose for listing, the only reason you get a listing, the only importance of a listing is not to sell it. You got a listing, great. You talk about marketing it to get another listing. The listing, in my opinion, is the most important tool in the real estate business to get another listing. If you got one listing, it's the total purpose for getting another one. So when you talk about marketing, the first thing you want to do when you get a listing is look at where is it at geographically, and you want to put a fence around that corridor, and you want to leverage that listing in a way that everybody in that geographic area know that that property is available for them to decide if they want to choose their neighbor. I will go out, for example, I'll go out a mile. I'll go out 2 miles, depending on where it is. Like, for example, if there is a community in this geographic area, but it's one, 2 miles away, but it's very similar. You know how these subdivisions are. If it's very similar, I'll use it to go to the other subdivision. I use it to dominate. For example, I have a subdivision in this area called Flossmoor, and the subdivision is called Ballantrae. And every year in Ballantrae, there are only about 5 to 7 homes that will sell in any one year in that subdivision. I got about 80% of them. Because when I get a listing in Ballantrae, I send it out to every last homeowner. And when every homeowner gets it, they know, here's James again, here's James again, here's James again. And then I send them information about the stacks in Ballantrae, but I also take that listing into another community in Flossmoor and do the same thing. And I'm only doing it to get another listing. Does that make sense? So what you do when you get a listing is you leverage it to get another listing. So I use this thing that Steve turned me on to, AM cards. I use AM cards and I send it out to all the people. And then the messaging is that, and here's the other thing that I do. Before I put it on the market, I try to time it. I'll send it out before the property hits the market, coming soon. Then I have my lead generation department call every last one of them. Then we put it on the market on a Wednesday, but the people can't see it until the Saturday open house. And we invite all the neighbors to the open house. So we create this mammoth level of exposure and requests for their participation in that open house. And when they come, the people in the community come just to be nosy. We create an opportunity to get their names and their numbers and where they live so that we can thank them. And then here's another thing that we do. When that person's home is sold, we invite all the people in the community to sort of like a going away little luncheon. We'll bring our lenders and so forth to sponsor it. and it'll be in the afternoon, and it'll be like another open house, but it's not an open house. It's a farewell party for the person so that they can say all the great things about us, so that when they get ready, it's just a foregone conclusion. So those are the type of things that we do for listing, because the listing is not to sell, it's to get another listing. Yeah. So on the card, I mean, I might put James has another one coming to you before it comes on the market, so that you can choose your neighbor. That's the name of the service provider of this card. It's called AM card. Very inexpensive. It's like $39 a month for maybe 100 cards or whatever. It's just a great tool. Great question. Did that answer it for you? Okay. Oh, that's a great one. So can I role play with you?
Right over here.
Go ahead, say it again.
Okay, well, I don't think I want to sell right now. I don't think the market is going and so I don't know. I think the market's going in the wrong direction and the interest rates are too high. So I think we're not going to get what we want for our house right now.
Okay, and I can certainly understand what you're saying. And obviously, it's very important if you were to sell that you get the most money for it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question. If you could get the amount of money for your home in today's market that gets you the proceeds to allow you to get into the next home in today's market, is this something that you would consider?
Yes, if the numbers work.
If the numbers work. Okay. So why don't we do this? First of all, just to let you know the reality of today's market, you're absolutely right. It's the low inventory of properties on the market right now. However, the silver lining of that fact is that because of the low inventory of properties, there are still more buyers trying to position themselves with opportunities. And if it's a nice house in a nice area like yours, you can be assured that not only will you get it sold, but the demand for your home would be such that you could possibly see yourself entertaining multiple offers where people will be willing to even pay more money because there's no homes like yours available. Now, again, you would sell your house for more money if you could, wouldn't you?
Yes, but we had it on the market for 6 months and it expired and nobody wanted to take our price.
Okay, so nobody wanted to take your price because the price that you had was one that did not create the demand. And let me tell you what I mean by that is, sometimes in our marketplace, what's your name? Stephanie? Sometimes, Stephanie, in today's market, you can price your home to sell, or you can price your home to get multiple offers. Now, it's a choice that you choose, whether it's you or your agent, but it's a difference. Now, I'm going to be in your area on Tuesday and Thursday, talking to some people that have the same concerns that you have. What day would be a good day for me to stop out and have that conversation with you?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, great. And then I will come by Tuesday and present to them the information, because you could put a home on the market for $500,000 and not get any offers, 6 months sitting on there. Or you can put the house on the market for $479,900 and get 15 offers and sell it for 5 1/4. So you have to educate the client to understand that there's a certain thing called pricing your home to sell versus pricing it to get multiple offers. And it's a difference. And you do want to get the most money, Stephanie, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you feel about sellers that want to price their home more than they know that it's worth before they register the price?
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is let's price it at an arbitrary price point in order to see how the market responds. And then whether the market responds favorably or not, we always will have the opportunity to come down. And again, I can understand what you're saying because at the end of the day, you want to get the most money for the home, right? And the strategy we implement ought to be one that does that, right? So we want to choose the strategy to get us the most money. So let's look at it. So look at these houses here. You have your house on the market for $995,000, and the highest home on the market sold for $890,000. But your home has this, that, and the other, so let's price it higher just to see. Now, if we do it that way, we know that the way the market has responded, and the only thing that we have to look at is what has happened before at $890,000. So if we price it at $995,000, what's going to happen is people is going to look at your home and they're going to right out the gate see that it's priced outside the market. It's priced in a way where you're trying to take advantage of not only getting the most money in the market, but you want to get more than that. And that's the wrong sign that the buyers ought to have. You want to sell your home for $995,000, don't you? So the way you get $995,000 is to price it at a price point that will get multiple people that are interested in buying it. And once you get the multiple people that be interested in buying it, now the natural forces of the market is working in your favor, because now you got multiple people that might be willing to pay more than the next person, who would pay more than that person, who will pay more than that person. And now you have a bidding war for your home. So what you did was you strategically positioned it, not in a way where you're just throwing something against the wall and hoping that it sticks, but you're positioning it in a way that create the very outcome that you want and deserve. And that's what you want, right? Yeah. So you have to be able to have that conversation with people. So if I'm understanding you correctly, if they don't get a certain amount for their property, they won't be able to purchase the next property. Okay. And of course, at the end of the day, your home can only sell for the price that the market will bear. There is a certain thing called timing. Sometimes the timing works and sometimes it doesn't. Now, of course, that's a very, very real world scenario that we find ourselves in, because do we put it on the market at this price that we know is too high to satisfy the client, and we already know that it has to sell at this price that we know it's not going to sell at for them to realize the money, and we know that that's not going to work because they're not going to not only get the higher price, they're not going to even sell it, and now you wasted all this time and money with your time and money. trying to do something that the market is not allowing. So you got to be willing to tell that seller no. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is not going to be a perfect fit. There is no script. There is no formula. There is no special conversation that's going to allow you to do something that the market doesn't allow. You have to be the person, however, that have the fortitude and the professionalism and the transparency to let your client know and explain to them why. Even if they go let somebody else put it on the market. I've had so many sellers that put their house on the market with other agents at these unrealistic prices, and guess what happens? Comes back on the market, and guess what happens? I get back in front of them, and guess what happens? I sell it. Yes.
You're in a market where the demand is so tight, you can push the market a little bit.
You can.
I met with the seller yesterday. Comparable, so 540. For instance, want to list your house for 650. Did I take it at 650? Did I take it at 600? No. 550 was in the right number because there was less than a month worth of inventory. I took it at 575. With conversation saying, if you don't get the equity in the first 10 to 14 days, we've already pre-agreed to meet the covenant file. Right, so you can push the market, but only if the demand is right. If you're in a market where there's 6 months worth of inventory, walk away.
Walk away.
What James was saying a moment ago is create the market. Don't chase the market, because when we chase the market, what direction are we chasing?
Downward.
Yeah.
Down. Create the market that will get you the price that you want.
Yeah. And in today's market, it's so easy because there's such a low inventory. Everywhere you look, and you look at a home, you do your comps, and it's closed, contingent, nothing active. That's when you know you can do the very thing you're talking about. But it still has to be within reason. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing?
If there's a lot of active properties, and one of the things I've learned here is that the condo market is slow. So if there's a lot of active comps in a condo building, then the only way I'm going to take it is they're gonna have to allow me to create the market by positioning it aggressively so that my unit. So if the property's on the market for 300, 325, 335, 355, and 370, then I gotta come at 299.9. Now, if my property has the same amenities as the 369.9, then I'm gonna get probably a market where more than one person is going to be interested in that 299. So they're going to offer 270, 275, 280, and 285, and 290. And now I got 5 people on highest and best, and I bet you can get that up to 3.25. And you better believe that everyone in that 300 to 369 would have probably taken that same 325. But because you were strategic in how you positioned it, yours was the one that sold. That's the type of conversation that you have to be comfortable with having with clients.
Question that goes to your comment about is 299.9. I've always been taught to not do the 99.9, to round it up to 300. That way in the MLS, because our surgery are going 300 and up to 300. What is your opinion on that?
You know, sometimes you can, cut a butter with a butter knife 50 different ways. I mean, I'm a big price the property to get multiple offers versus pricing it to sell. So I'm always trying to play the pricing it at 2, 3, 4% less than the comparable that did sell.
My question is more to the point In the MLS search.
in the search, 299 versus 300. I'm gonna do lower then. I want to do lower than the search. I think that when buyers are looking at properties, let's say that they're qualified for 300 and up. 9 times out of 10, a buyer's is gonna wanna buy 325 for 275 if they can. I don't believe they're just gonna say, I'm qualified for 3.25, so I'm gonna look at 300. If in one of the marketing things that I do is if I got a house that's priced for 400,000 and I'm marking it online, I'm putting in the ad, I'm saying beautiful 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, these amenities in the high 3s or the mid 3s. I'm not putting the address. I'm not putting where it's at. I'm just putting a beautiful picture of a house. It might not even be the house. So I'm advertising for people that can afford 400,000 and 500,000, but I'm giving them the appearance that they can get everything that they want in the mid to high 3s. And I'm making the phone ring. Yeah.
Right. I've talked last week on up to 500,000 and $5,000 price credit. Once they break 500 number, they get 50,000 price. Right. So the thought is by listing it at 300, you're getting the buyer from 275 to 300,
Right.
And then you're getting the buyer from 300 to 3.25.
Correct.
If you price it at 299, you're only getting that 275 to 300. That's her question.
So my thinking is, and again, understand, I don't work with buyers. I really don't know what they do. I'm just keeping it real. I don't know what buyers, but from a listing perspective, and I think that buyers inherently want something for nothing. So my thinking is if they could buy a Rolls Royce with Volkswagen money, they'll take it every day of the week, including weekends. So my thinking is I wanna get the masses of buyers as opposed to trying to narrow it down to this buyer. Does that make sense? I'm not so like I get what you're saying, you know, for example, when my buyer agent is looking for a property, I tell them, don't go on the computer if they qualify for 325 and you go on the computer and you pull up, okay, 315 to 330, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, this, that, and other. I don't want you to even put in the price. I want you to put in the amenities. I want you to put in the area. And then see what comes up. Because you might see something that's a distressed sale that just came on the market today. And you know that it's going to go just like that, but because you did it that way, you saw it. Whereas if you did the bracket, you wouldn't have saw it. So I want to be able to create outcomes for my buyer because of my intuitiveness and because of my manipulation of the system. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Right, right, right. Right, 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 right. Yes, yes. Every price point that I sell in, my goal is to position, I try to, as best I can, explain to my seller, look, if the goal is to get the most money, price it not here, but price it here, and let the organic nature of the market do the heavy lifting above it.
Let's say the house is $5,000, and you know the there for those time, and you need to some price reduction, but the depth that he has is bigger
Mhm.
than that what we.
What goes back to something the gentleman was sharing is that you have to set your client up right out the gate of what the plan of action is. So if the property does not sell, and the market will tell us, will the market tell us if the property is gonna have the type of market responsiveness to get a sale after it goes on the market? It's gonna tell us. So once it tells us based on the actual responsiveness of the market, then you have to educate that seller to understand that, look, I don't set the market. You don't set the market. The market will let us know. And just like a plane, and I mean, everybody in here has flown a plane. Everybody knows that a plane does not take off and in the same direction that it takes off, it just continues in that path. Planes don't do that. Planes adjust based on the air and based on the weather patterns and based on, they might adjust 100 times on a flight, because if it didn't, it would be off. You'd be going to New York and next thing you know, you're in Russia. You got to adjust. So you have to educate the client in understanding that we're going to adjust to the realities of the market. Now, if the seller is telling you right out the gate, well, I don't care what the market says, this is what I want. 7 to 10 days. I'm gonna tell you something. If you're putting a house on the market and you put it on the market right, it's gonna sell just like that. You guys know that. It's gonna sell just like that. If you, in this marketplace, the market of the most historic low inventory of homes in the history of them maintaining information. So when you overprice a property and it don't sell in a week or 10 days, it is just like medical malpractice. They give you an aspirin and next day you have a stroke, and they examined you and saw your blood pressure was 250 over 300. Oh, just take an aspirin, you'll be fine. That's medical malpractice. When you put a home on the market way overpriced right out the gate and you ain't even calling them to let them know, that is real estate malpractice. And they oughta fine you.
Amen.
Market, you put the price in the market. What is something that you're selling is over that price?
The average, the MLS average in my market is 98.2% that homes are selling on the market in the MLS. My average is 101.7%. Yeah. So, but it's right. But that's because I go under to get higher. I'm like, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to take a step backwards to take 3 steps forward. It's I always tell them, this is a strategy. We're not pricing your home at this price for it to sell at this price. This is the juicy smoked turkey liver that we put on the hook to cast out into the water to get the fish to bite. It's a strategy.
Take a second. Those numbers. Does that matter? How many of you know for the last 12 months what the MLS average sold price is versus list?
And here's the thing.
95.4%. Got to know your numbers.
That is so key. When you're in any profession, engineer, even if you're a mailman, you got to know your route, right? In this business, you have to, as a professional, take it upon yourself to know the information so that you can convey it. Because let me tell you something. Out of 10 agents, 1 person know their numbers. And that person is conveying the information to the consumer in a way where they're coming off as so knowledgeable. I'm gonna tell you something. When I used to prospect for sellers, and I purposely stopped calling at 7:30 in the morning so I can be first. Because I learned that when the seller had talked to 5, 6, 7, 8 other agents and then talked to me, you know what, you just sound so different. You sound so much more knowledgeable. And this is after I've set the appointment. You know, would Tuesday or Thursday work better for you, Mr. Seller? And they set the appointment. You know, I got to tell you something, James. I've talked to 15 agents this morning, and I don't know, just something about what you were saying or something about, you know, blah, 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 skippity wee, so forth and so on. For example, who will do a role play with me? Do a role play with me, Michelle. So this is a expired cancel listing. Ring, ring. Hi. Hey, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. This is James Mattz. I hope I'm dialing the right number. This phone number came up as a property at 123 Main Street that came off the market. And I had it on my dashboard because I saved it. But then I pulled it up this morning and saw it came off the market. And I'm really hoping you might still consider a buyer for it.
That property listed for 3 months and we've got 0 offers. And we're discouraged right now, so we're gonna take a step back and reevaluate.
Oh man, I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Tell me, quick question, Michelle. Could the property be available for immediate occupancy upon a successful closing?
Yes.
It could be. So what I'm hearing you say, if there was a buyer that paid the right price, you would sell it to that buyer and they would be able to get possession at the end of that closing. You know, I was looking at your property, beautiful home. Tell me, in your opinion, why do you think it didn't sell? You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Michelle. I've been hearing that. And of course, it forces me to ask you this question. In your opinion, and I want you to be as specific as you can, what was the agent doing from the time they took the listing to the time it came off the market that you felt was getting you closer to getting to the closing table? And that's the question, and that's the key, because I got to tell you something. I'm looking in your market, and there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 properties that have closed, and several of them closed for more money than they were even asking. Let me ask you, is that an outcome that you would have rather had? you know what? I'm going to be in your area on Monday and Wednesday. What would be a good day for me to come out and take a look at it?
Oh, Wednesday.
Okay, great. Now, when I have that type of conversation pattern with the person, that's different. Hi, this is James Mattz, Michelle, and of course, I saw your home came off the market. When do you plan on interviewing the right person that can get your home sold? Click. So you have to and please understand is scripts are great and so forth and so on, but sometimes you have to conversationally create a conversation pattern. So that's why I start out on that call. Hey, man, I'm hoping I'm dialing the right number. Yeah, this is the number. Oh, fantastic. You know, I saw your home on the market. I had saved it. I had took the time to put it in my system and I saved it and I pulled it up and it's off the market. And I was really hoping. Sometimes. And here's the thing, that whole conversation pattern is to create a different type of conversation. And then when I tell them, hey, tell me, could your home be available for immediate occupancy upon a successful closing? Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, yes. So it's in creating the conversation patterns, which is important. And that's a different class, but I got to tell you, now I've learned scripts through Mike Ferry, and I've been in Mattz coaching for many years, et cetera. And I've taken their scripts and made them my own.
What is like you kind of have your mind before you get to the call? You know, do you go in and literally find the other house after that's sold?
Oh yeah, I have my and I'm a role play for sale by owner with you. And you're just that. Ring, ring, ring. Hi, I hope I'm dialing the right number. I'm calling regarding the property for sale at 123 Main Street. Am I speaking with the owner?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. You know, my name is Jim Mattz. I'm a broker with Keller Williams, but I saw you got a property on the market for $350 and you're selling it yourself. Am I calling the right number?
Yes.
Awesome, man. I'm so glad I got the right number. Let me ask you a question. Could your home be available for immediate occupancy upon a successful closing?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. You know, I was looking at some of the online information. Gorgeous home, by the way. Let me ask you a question. Is the reason you decided to sell the home yourself because you wanted to avoid the commission expense?
Yes.
Okay, and certainly most people like yourself, particularly in today's market, you're looking to get the most money to put in your pocket, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. So let me ask you a question. I see you're asking $350 for it. How did you determine your sell price?
Well, we looked at what we owed on it and we wanted to be able to not come out of pocket and then have a little extra for our next purchase.
Okay, so accomplishing that goal and you being able to do it on your own will constitute the outcome you're trying to achieve, right?
Hopefully.
Okay, great, great. Let me ask you a question. If I was able to get your home sold for the same amount of money you're looking to put in your pocket or for more money, would that be a reasonable outcome for you and your family?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the agency format?
No.
Okay. What the agency format does, Gisette, it's a program that gives me the ability to expose your home to our pipeline of buyers while maintaining your flexibility in selling it yourself, just like you are right now as a for sale by owner. Now, the key benefit to you, Gisette, is that right now, you're only exposing the home to no more than 3 to 5% of the active buyers that are looking for a home like yours. But unfortunately, the other 95% or more that could find your home to be the perfect home for them, but they don't even know it's available. For example, Gisette, we just sold a property around the block from you. The owner was asking $369,900 for the property. And of course, their bottom line that they were trying to get was $350,000. So we came out, we looked at the home, we looked at the amenities, we looked at the price, and we put the home on the market at the $369,900. But because of our unique way of helping our clients like you achieve their goal, we created a multiple offer situation and it sold for $378,000. And after our commission, the owner netted out $10,000 more for their property than they would have gotten selling it themselves. Let me ask you a question, Gisette. Is that an outcome you could see yourself taking advantage of?
Yes.
I'm going to be in your area on Tuesday and Thursday. Would be a good day for me to stop out and take a look at it?
Thursday.
Yeah. It's commanding. And you notice when I was talking, now the major benefit to you, ... The major benefit to you. And so you got to be able to, I got to tell you guys something. On the phone and talking and presenting and all this kind of stuff is like acting. You have to take off your lights, camera, action. You got to make that pivot. Even when you're on the telephone, you gotta act it out, and you have to separate and pivot and interchange and be quiet and understand and get clarity and get confirmation and then come back to what they want. You gotta play on words and sound and presentation. You really have to do that when you're presenting. And the only way you get it to that point, you got to do it over and over and over. That's why I say that you got to be talking to 50 people a day. And, you know, this is Fort Lauderdale. You can walk up and down this place every day and get 50 people in 2 hours. I like him. He asked, what do I think about escalation clauses on contracts? Yeah, it's great. Great for my seller. Fantastic. Now, I will say this. When the interest rates were at 3% and we were getting 40 offers on a property, that was freaking ridiculous when you're going the highest and best. It just got too freaking cumbersome and everything. So I try not, as a rule, to go to highest and best if I can create an outcome without doing it, because it just gets too cumbersome. But I love escalation clauses. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. One of the big benefits that you can provide for your client is your ability to discern what the seller needs to do to enhance the value of the house. If there's carpet on the stairs, or if there's pink color, you know, the plastic, whatever. And it depends on the seller. If the seller has the resources to make those adjustments, I'm fully engaged and fully prepared to tell them that they need to do that, because it's going to enhance the presentation and it's going to increase the probability of them being able to overachieve on their ROI in the sale of the home. So that's a great question. We have to be consultants in that way, and being able to share with the client what are the strategies to help them maximize their price. Okay, that's okay. Okay.
So he spent $800,000 6 months ago to buy this house. He wants to move. He spent $30,000 more than what he should have because he bought it from out of state. There's carpet going up. It's a beautiful house. We were thinking about changing the floors, but so a buyer's going to come in there and they're going to change their own floor. So it's a waste of money.
Right.
You know, and then we're looking at the pink wall, and now we're looking at this, and now it's taking a lot longer for my listing and for him to sell and for us to be able to reach his goals. Make him spend money so it's a better presentation, or is there any other strategy to get this listing up and running and actually sell it?
What is the reality of the market?
There are 3 listings in that city for that type of price point, and they don't even compare to the home. That we have a way better house. That's the way that I view it. I'm newer, so that's the way that I see it.
So your house is superior.
Way superior.
Way superior.
Way cul-de-sac, water. It's just gorgeous. I mean, 2,000 square more feet for the $800,000 value that he's trying to receive back.
Oh, well,
so.
you're fine.
Don't change anything.
Don't
right?
change anything.
Just
Yeah.
leave the eyesore.
Absolutely.
Open houses with eyesores.
Absolutely.
Yes, do it.
Because you just said location, amenity, square footage, superior to everything else. So it's as if his house is the only house on the market like that.
Okay.
So the thing you need to do on your coming soon strategy is you need to espouse those characteristics of the home prior to putting it on the market, and then heightening that on your just listed, just sold, circle prospecting, whatever you're going to do. And then when you put it on the market and they can't see it until the Saturday open house, you should have multiple offers on that.
Okay, and with single family houses, you're doing your coming soon. With condos too? With whatever, are you doing your coming soon? Like
I might have to, if it's condos right in the area, because condo owners might be buyers too, or they might know buyers.
Okay. And do you have like a buyer's agent?
Oh yeah.
So you have buyer agents.
Yeah.
And those people that are calling for you,
Oh yeah.
you said they call my leads. What does that mean?
Well, I have a lead generation department.
Okay.
So my lead generation department are the ones that call the expireds and the cancels and the circle prospecting and all that stuff. They do the ground, they execute the ground game on the outbound side. They do all the outbound. And
How many?
Huh?
How many people?
I have 3 people in my lead generation department. Interesting point. I'd be remiss if I didn't share. I went all in when I found out that I could teach people what I say, and I could teach them in a way that they could do it just as well. Man, after 30 years, 32 years, I got off the phone. That was the best thing ever happened to me in my life, man.
Awesome.
So who'd you hire ISAs from?
I started out with Outdesk. And then I went to, then I got a few with cyberbackers. But what I did was I said, well, man, if I could just kill it on the dial talk side, man, I'm going to kill the game. So what happened was I hired 8 of them, and they were making like 20,000 dials a week, over 5,000 contacts a week. And I figured at those numbers, just playing the game and just saying, man, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna go from 8, I'm gonna get 50 people on the phone, just killing it. But what I found out is that the more dials they got, the less business I got. And I was just spinning my wheels. And then I found out that I didn't need 8, I just needed 3 for my market. Now, because I am in the process of working on expansion. So as I expand in other markets, then I can turn it on into another market, turn it on into another market, turn it on to another market. Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of touch on this because everybody's like, oh, well, cool. I'll just hire somebody who's a VA.
Yeah.
Right. If you can't do it as well as James, and you can't teach the VA to do it as good as you do, don't do it. It's a waste of cash. And I've seen James, he's spent hours per week.
It was like,
with the VAs.
it was like 8 hours a week training my VAs. And I did that for 6 months. And I got to tell you something, because that was one of the places in my business where I had the biggest breakthrough, because of not the what, but the who. So I'm talking with my lead person, his name is Red. And I said, man, Red, man, we've been spending all these hours on the phone, and we've been having great role playing, and we've, great breakthroughs. I can hear it in your presentation and how you're responding. And I said, but man, it's all in the air. I mean, we can't bring it back. We didn't archive it. He says, James, what are you talking about? I said, we've lost all of that good work. He said, James, I taped every phone call we had. You taped he said, yeah, I got everything we've talked about in an archivable position. And then he told me this. He said, and I even transcribed it. I got about 74 pages of content. That's when I knew that I could take this on the road. Huh? No, they're virtual. They're in the Philippines. Yeah. Now I trained him. Now he trains them and manages them. That's why I'm trying to get him over to this country, so that I can acclimate him to America, because of another opportunity that I want to position him in. Yeah. I probably pay my lead generation department about $75,000 a year. No, that's what I pay them. And they're the captain of the outbound, because I'm not on the phone at all. And we'll probably list about 250 properties this year. Yeah. That's the only thing I do on my team. I provide leadership, mentorship, and I am the converter. Now, the thing on the conversion side, I'm not making the first call. I'm making the calls on the appointments that they set. So when COVID happened, that's when I got off the phone, because I couldn't call them and make an appointment and go to their house. So I transformed my whole pattern of calling leads. I taught my lead generation department to do it. And then everything starts with a phone appointment. So I probably went from physically getting in my car, going out every day on 2 to 4 appointments every day. And I might go to 1 or 2 homes a week. So now my goal is to replace myself in that vein, so that then all I have to do is operate in the space of finding more salespeople to train.
James, share with them what you shared with us last night. What do listings get? And we talked about what the listings get.
Listing gets leads.
So a lot of you guys think listings get buyers.
Yeah, listings create the lead flow when you put the systems and models in place. And that's what builds your day. Because as I was sharing earlier, if you put yourself in a position to talk to 50 people a day, whether it takes you from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock or from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, if you don't have any appointments in the day, then your only other job is to lead generate. If you don't have any appointments, if it's 9 to 5 o'clock, 9 to 6 o'clock, and you don't have any appointments, you're not lead generating, you're cheating. You're a cheater. You're cheating yourself, you're cheating your family, you're cheating your kids, you're cheating your legacy, you're a cheat. Great question. So, like Mike, I was an assassin. All I did was call expires for sale by owners. I was so skilled in that vein. I would call in the mornings. I would set my appointments for the afternoon, and that's all I did. And I did it every day. When I sold the property, I didn't sell it. It was some other agent, buyer, or otherwise. All I did was went for the listing. I was leaving all those sales, all those people, all those relationships, and just casting them into the Atlantic Ocean. I didn't give a rat's tail until somebody said, you're leaving hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on the table. And so that's when I converted back. So when I came to Keller Williams, because I left my Ferry coaching that was all about lead generation and prospecting. And then when I got to Keller Williams and I got the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying, wait a minute, he's talking about prospect-based marketing enhanced. I never did marketing. Because Mike Ferry said marketing, that's how he thought about marketing. So I didn't think, marketing was something that I need to concern myself with. But you can't scale what I was doing. So I was leaving a lot of money. So now I would say I went from my business being my book of business, the money I put in my pocket being like 95% listings and 5% referral database, to now it's like 50-50.
Hey, James.
I attribute that to him because he would beat my head over with a hammer every day about that.
Yeah. So when I took over his team, I was like, James, you got to get off the phone.
Yeah.
And it was hard for him because he had been doing it for, at that time, 30 years.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to give up. He was worried about the cash flow of stopping and calling his FSBOs and expires.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when you took a step back to go,
Best thing I ever did. Yeah.
Your business exploded.
It did.
Right. And now when you do call, it's your database.
It's my database.
He has a VIP group, his top core people, and that's who he lead generates.
So now what I'm doing is I have 180 people in my platinum club. These are my highest ambassadors. And then I have about 2,500 in my VIP. And then I have about 14,000 people just in the database. And so my goal now is I only talk to my platinum club. And my virtuals talks to my VIP and everybody else. So my goal is to pour in, like one of my passions, I have two passions. One is real estate and the other one is music. I love music. And what I'm doing, for example, next Friday, I got a suite, a box at the United Center, and Anita Baker is going to be performing. And I got 20 people of my platinum club that's coming to the concert. And we're going to sit in the suite and have good food and drink and have a great time. But before that, I got a suite downtown that people can come to the suite, have a pre-party, getting prepared, and I'm gonna have a luxury bus take them to the United Center, and then drop them off, and then pick them back up after the concert, bring them back to the suite, because now my goal is to create experiences for people, because people will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. So my goal is to create in my platinum club these incredible over-the-top experiences 3 or 4 times a year, so that I can develop them into giving me 2-3 referrals every year, just from that core group.
So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to have our one last sponsor come up, and then we're going to do final ahas. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So my name is Nadine Galena. I'm with United Insurance. I'm an independent insurance broker. I know right now in the real estate industry, insurance has been quite a struggle for a lot of your buyers and your sellers. So I have access to every insurance carrier that is currently writing in the state of Florida. What separates me is I am willing to sit down with you if you have a seller buyer before you go under contract to discuss what is needed to make sure that that home passes inspection for insurance purposes. Okay, so roof is a big thing right now. We have a lot of issues with the roof. So I always tell people to make sure that you get the right inspector on board when you're inspecting. It's very important. A minimum of 5 years is what the underwriters want to see. I'm always available. You can reach me on the weekends through text message, through phone call. If you have a question before somebody wants to put an offer in regarding the roof, I'll be happy to pull permits for you and do as much research as I can before you go under contract. Okay. I work independently, but I work the whole entire state of Florida. Okay. So if you have any questions, I'll be hanging around afterwards. Okay. I will. Yes. Yes, I will. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I want to see you succeed, and I want the deal to go smooth. And I know right now it's a challenge for everybody. The insurance, you get all the way and you get to the finish line, and then you have a hiccup with the insurance and it could kill the whole deal. You know, things have changed over the last year. I'm here to help. So yes.
Heard that we were starting to see more insurance companies come back.
Not yet. Not yet. I'm thinking, and the tort reform has been changed, but we're not going to see those changes for another 18 to 24 months. Still, I have some carriers that are opening up, but they're very limited capacity in the Tri-County. So once they run out of that capacity, they close down. So the quotes are lasting maybe a day or two, and they're extremely expensive. But my background as an independent insurance agent, I've been in the business for 24 years, but I have an extensive underwriting background. I worked as an underwriter for 11 years. So I know exactly how to structure the application before I even sent it in, so we don't have any issues. So I make sure that everything runs smooth from start to finish. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Yes, I will. I'll leave some cards, definitely. And like I said, I'm always available. I understand you guys are busy on the weekend. That's when you're the most busiest. So you can always text me, call me, questions you have. I will respond. I do pick up my phone and I do respond to my text messages 7 days a week. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so what do you think? Was this awesome today or what? All right. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, come on, clap for that. It's awesome. I actually took a picture a few minutes ago of the room to see how full the room still is a couple hours later. So this is all credit to this gentleman right here. James, thank you so much for everything. And also another special thanks to Steve for actually introducing James to our group and actually bringing him down here. So thank you very much as well. Well, I want to just take a couple ahas. What did you hear today? And what did you hear? And what are you going to implement when you leave here? What are you going to do differently from here? Look for the nose, search for the nose. I love that. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Excellent. Some other options.
I think it's great that you learn the scripts, but it makes it yourself, because all we have different personality and we have a great gift probably. So if we make those scripts, we own them for real, we can actually help those people without sounding so scripted and just ask the questions.
Absolutely. I had someone taught me this a few years ago. We need to memorize the scripts until we internalize the scripts, and then we customize the scripts. All right. So memorize them verbatim. Yeah, it doesn't sound like me because you've never said it before. All right. But say it over and over and over until it's internalized. Yeah. Until it becomes you. Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't verbatim, but what I wrote down was to make $1 million, get rejected 50 times every single day.
We're going to do your okay.
I really like this part. The real estate is the rejection game. You gotta be willing, able, and open to, if you don't get those 50 rejection a day, so you're not doing your job right. So just ignore it. It's a noise.
So there was a couple of things I thought about that he had mentioned. This is an extra mile business. You've got to live in the uncomfortable so that your greatness can come out. And the only purpose to get a listing is to get another listing.
Thank you. You are free for a reason, so use your time wisely. And I felt that James was speaking to me through the Holy Ghost, seriously, telling me you need to be more active. You have the time to do so. So, and I love the beach. I go to Hollywood Beach all the time for 2-3 hours. So guess what? We're going to be speaking to everybody. I am ready. I'm excited. James, thank you so much. The funny thing is I had an appointment today and it was canceled. And then I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Steve's going to kill me. I can't cancel today. And it was canceled. It just called me, said, hey, it's canceled till the 29th. Just to be here today. Yes. So I'm excited. I'm going to start right now. And another thing is, are we invited to your gathering that you are having?
Yeah, come
We're
on
not
to
invited?
Chicago. Absolutely. If you're in
I want to
Chicago,
do the VIP club.
yes. If
Let's
you're in
do it.
Chicago, please come.
Yes. Thank you again.
Yes.
Thank you. We
Yes.
do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Are you moving to Florida no time soon or?
Man, I tell you, man, I
Okay.
love it down here.
I just want to go again, something that he said that we all hear our coaches every single day to please do the activities. Like we hear this not enough, and we hear them every single time, every single day. And everybody knows that we probably don't do enough activities. It doesn't matter what stage you are in your business, but it's the reality. If you are in the high level, you always can do more for your business. So it's just the truth. We hear this every day. So it's just, and we gotta be thankful to all of you. Okay, you guys don't get tired enough to tell you that. Like you guys tell us every day, and you guys are right. It's on us. It's on us to do it. And
I was gonna say, what do you think Gary Keller is saying to his top agents that he had
hello,
the same thing?
I actually like the concept of pricing the property to get multiple offers rather than pricing to sell. I think that as a buyer, I can envision going for those properties that are at those pricings, and how you explain the concept, it actually makes a whole lot of sense. So I've never priced a property, but it's like I'm excited to do one, just to see how it would work based on the explanation.
Nadine and then
So I'm committing to upping my game to 50 instead of 20 as of today. That was huge for me. And just knowing that it is a rejection business. I already know that, and I still get emotionally caught up in it, and I know I should stay next. So yeah, I'm embracing the rejection. So thank you for that.
My biggest aha, and I'll just piggyback on Nadine and the young lady over there. I've been doing this for 10 years, and at times we all ride the emotional roller coaster, and she's right. Lead generation, you have to make that. It's the most important thing we have to do in our business. There is no magic. Make the calls, put it on your schedule, get it done.
For me, I feel like James is a catalyst of, I said here for the first time, just new to Keller Williams, feeling like I couldn't conquer luxury real estate or just being a great agent because I was African American. And it's just like for everyone in this room that may feel like they're different and that they can't succeed in this industry because they don't look like what they think a luxury agent or a top producer looks like, I'm honored to see you at the level of excellence that you are at. And for me, it just showed me that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, all you have to do is put in the hard work, and you are like the epitome of someone who has worked hard and you have exuded excellence. And I just hope anybody in this room that have that sitting on their lap, that is because of what you look like. Like he's an example amongst all of these men that it doesn't matter what we look like. It matters how much work we put in. So thank you.
One of my biggest ahas that I had was the embrace the rejection. All right. Joanna, my wife is over here. Joanna, raise your hand. All right. She's Joanna, that's my rock over here. And she is my motivator a lot at times, especially when I'm making my calls at home. I'm making my telephone calls, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And she's come into my office before and said, "What's the matter?" And I'm frustrated. I'm like, "Man, you know what? I just got 45 rejections. I just got hung up 45 times. I got told 45 times no." She looks at me with a smile on her face and says, "Great, you're one step closer to yes."
Yes.
And you know what? It's just a different mindset. All right. Embrace the rejection. That was my biggest aha.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much. Oh, you're
I'm short, that's why.
Yes. Exactly, exactly. James, how can they get in touch with you if they have referrals that are going up to Chicago?
Okay, my phone number on my hip is 708-473-7508.
Say it again.
708-473-7508. It's best to text me. It's best to text me and just let me know that you guys were in the class at Fort Lauderdale. I'll know it. I'll get back to you immediately, if not sooner. And I'm also going to give you my office. It's 708-249-3160. And my EA is Judith. 708-249-3160. And my EA is Judith. And so between those numbers, you can get in touch with me. I would love for you guys to call me, let me know how things are going, how you were able to implement some of the things that we talked about. It would do my heart so well to hear your success stories or your challenges.